This is Steve Ridgel, and it's one of the really fun times at our ranch because it's calving season. Now, we love to, you get up and you look at we have a little herd. We don't have many cows, about 15, so it's not like we have a big herd, but we go out sometimes and you'll look at your cows and you realize one's off somewhere and you'll realize they're probably calving, and sure enough, next day, here they come to eat and they bring their little calf in. And I'm always amazed to watch how cattle do when they have how cows do when they have their little ones. Boy, they bring those calves in and they call them, they look at them, they feed them, they take care, they nudge them out of the way, they bring them on. It is amazing. Now I know that some of my cows have had, boy, they've had 8 or 9 or 10 calves. But I really love watching the heifers, the first time moms, because some of them are really good instinctively. They know how to take care of their calf. And those little calves hop and run and jump, but believe me, they don't go too far from mama. And she doesn't let them go too far. And I think about that when I think about, new Christians. I'm always amazed to watch. I think sometimes we ought to be more like cattle. When we have new births into our herd, into the church, that we need to be sure we take care of them. Don't leave them alone, because if they're alone very much, in fact, you know what cows do? They hide their little calves for a day or two. And so I think sometimes we need to be sure we protect our new Christians. Don't let them around the temptations from their old life. Be sure that they're protected from the evil one. And we've got to teach them how they live. We've got to teach them where to eat and where to drink and what to do and how to do. We've got to be sure they're fed. Boy, mamas, be sure those calves feed. Boy, they nurse, and then they learn to have grass or wheat or cattle cubes, and they learn all that stuff. We need to be sure that we teach our new Christians how to eat well, how to teach them off the Word, how to give them the basics of how to live for Jesus, how to teach them how to study the Bible, teach them how to pray. And I watch as those calves grow up, and some of that, especially the little heifers, they grow up and sometimes they become mamas and they teach their calves. And that's what we want in the church, to let you become a new Christian, let you mature in the church a little bit, and then let you help mature others. That's what the church does. I never thought I'd learn that much about Christianity and church from watching our cows, but I sure am reminded of that lesson. And so I want to tell you, in your church herd, when you've got new births, you be sure and teach them how to live in the herd and how important it is to be part of the herd, because they're kind of born into it and then they have to learn to live in it. So this is Steve Ridgel, thanking God, one, for the amazing things of how cows instinctively, heifers even on their first calf, know how to be a good mom. And I love watching the herd and learning about church. So thank you, God, for letting me look at nature and learn about your kingdom.